Hello, I'm Matt Sturgeon, Superintendent of Teutopolis Schools. In our first Clear View video, we introduced the website and explained how it was organized. In the second, we spent more time reviewing several of the key documents within the Clear View document library. In this, the third video, I'd like to focus specifically on financial information connected to the Board of Education's ongoing grade school facility discussion. Before we move to the Clearview website, I want to begin on the district's main page and show the public where broader financial information about Teutopolis Unit 50 can be accessed. From the main district website, you can go to Explore from your mobile phone, click on the Unit 50 office, and then Financial Information. This page serves as the central location for financial documents the district makes publicly available. Here, families and community members can review documents such as the district's annual budget, the annual financial report, annual statement of affairs, and other required financial records that are obligated to be posted on the school district's website according to state statute. These documents provide a broader view of the district's revenue, district's expenditures, fund balances, obligations, and overall financial position. We will not review any of these reports today, but I did want our community to know where this information can be found. These records are available for anyone who wants to better understand the district's overall financial position prior to better understanding the grade school facility discussion. From here, we will move back to the Clearview website and look at more specific financial analysis information that's been provided to the Board of Education as it continues its ongoing conversation regarding a possibility of a grade school renovation. From the main page, we can scroll down to the gold button, Facilities, a clear view. Within the Clearview portion of the website, use the upper right-hand navigation 3 bars, the drop-down menu of Navigate to Document Library. If we scroll down to the Document Library, we see that there are subfolders of available documents. We'll click on the subfolder for Financial and Referendum Information. Let's open the Debt Book. This document within the Clearview Library is one of many financial resources prepared for the district. This document provides information about the district's existing debt, its legal borrowing capacity, projected debt service, and several illustrations of borrowing scenarios. The debt book currently shows that the district has approximately $4.8 million in outstanding debt, and it also shows a debt capacity of $26.8 million. Let's look at the slides a little more deeply. These materials were prepared by Stifel. Stifel is the bond company that assisted the district in 2019 when it last borrowed or bonded money. If we scroll to this page here and take a deeper look at the debt map, we can see the district's 2 existing bonds issued in 2019. The first bond was a $2.12 million bond, and it was a coupon at 5% interest. The second debt service, or the second bond, was 2019A, and it was for a total of $5.56 million. So the district is still paying on these existing bonds and will do so through 2033. Looking at the next slide, this slide shows debt capacity. It has historical information dating back to 2003 and includes the EAV history. EAV is also known as Equalized Assessed Evaluation. That ultimately is the total value of all properties within the school district boundaries. You can see how the Equalized Assessed Valuation has changed over time. EAV is an important number to consider when considering the statutory limitation of a unit school district. It is not capable of borrowing more than 13.8% of its total equalized assessed valuation, meaning the school district has the capacity, the legal capacity, to borrow upwards of $26.7 million. Again, that's not necessarily what we're suggesting today, but rather it provides historical context and statutory context for what might be legally allowable. The next slide shows remaining debt service, meaning it shows the remaining value of both debt service on the 2019 bond and the 2019A bond. This includes both principal and interest. So you can see for this past fiscal year of 2025 and tax year equalized assessed valuation year of 2025, the tax year of 2026, and the fiscal year of 2027, which is our current 26-27 academic year, the district will pay $98,000 towards debt service in the 2019 bond, and it'll pay $687,500 in the 2019A bond. That's a total of $785,500, which will require 36.8 cents of property tax levy. Looking further, the next set of slides here within the debt book specifically references examples of a possible $10 million, $12 million, and $15 million facility project. These are the same scenarios that we reviewed yesterday in video 2 when we talked about options A, B, and C for $10, $12, and $15 million respectively. Each example here also includes a 15-year repayment option and a 20-year repayment option. The current debt service that the district has from 2019 was a 15-year payment option, so that's what I'll use today for the conversation. It's important to be clear that these are planning scenarios. These are not final proposals. They are intended, rather, to help the board and the community better understand the possible financing approaches, estimated annual impact, and the difference between shorter and long-term payment periods. Let's first look here at the $10 million debt scenario. You can see above the line and below the line within the blue box, and within the green box, that's the 15-year debt repayment cycle. The first example, again, is the $10 million borrowing option, and it directly coincides with option A reviewed yesterday. Under the 15-year illustration, the estimated annual impact is approximately $38 for a home with a fair market value of $100,000, approximately $84 of tax-paying impact for a valued home at $200,000, and approximately $175 for a fair market value home of $400,000. For context, the county information indicates that in 2024, the fair market value of a home in Teutopolis was $250,000. As such, individuals can use the documentation provided here and make tax implication estimates based on what you might value your home to be from a fair market perspective. For example, let's imagine that you just built a new home in the subdivision on the southeast of town, and maybe you consider its valuation or its fair market value to be more near that of $500,000. You could either do some simple mathematical formulas, or you could add the fair market value home of $100,000 plus $400,000, and thereby adding the tax implications or the tax impact of the $175 plus the $38. That might give you a more reasonable value of your home as it relates to your unique fair market situation. The same is also true. Maybe you don't live in Teutopolis, but rather you live out in the countryside. Maybe you just recently constructed your forever Shoust, and you've got a number of acres of land, and maybe you value your fair market to be larger than the 100, 200, or 400,000. Again, you could apply a simple mathematical formula, and you could get a rough estimate of the potential tax impact for your unique situation. Let's move down to the $12 million borrowing scenario. And again, the $12 million borrowing scenario directly coincides with option B that we discussed in video number 2. Similarly, here in the boxes, you can see of historical information as well as anticipated new information above and below the line within the blue and green boxes. The second example is the $12 million. Let's look at the 15-year illustration and its estimated annual impact of approximately $57 for a home with a fair market value of $100,000, $127 of impact for a $200,000 home, and approximately $266 of impact for a home that's fair market valued at $400,000. Scrolling to the next page, we can now see the $15 million scenario of borrowing, which directly coincides with video number 2's option C. The 15-year illustration estimates annual impact of approximately $86 for a fair market value home of $100,000, $192 of impact for a $200,000 home, and approximately $402 of impact for the $400,000 fair market value home. As you review these examples, one important concept to understand is the trade-off between the shorter term and the longer term repayment period illustrated within each one of these slides and the 15-year versus the 20-year payback. Same as your home mortgage and same as your car loan, a shorter repayment period generally results in a higher annual impact, but a lower total financial cost over time. The longer repayment period generally lowers the annual impact, but it does extend the obligation and increases the total amount paid over the life of borrowing. Again, we reviewed the 15-year borrowing scenario because that's what the district did in 2019. Again, the figures within the debt book are estimates. They're based on assumptions about tax rates, equalized assessed valuations, cost of insurance, repayment structure, and a variety of other factors. Actual results could differ for the board if the board ultimately decides to move forward with a project. Individual tax bills also depend largely upon your home's assessed valuation, which is determined by the county assessor, what exemptions you might have, and the tax levies of other taxing bodies. For this reason, the examples provided within the debt book should be viewed as planning estimates, not as final taxpayer impact figures. The board is considering these financial estimates within the broader context that includes the district's annual budget, existing debt, fund balances, long-term facility needs, and the responsibility to manage taxpayer resources carefully. This is also why the district continues to make both routine financial documents and the Clearview facility planning materials available to the public. Our goal is to provide access to information being reviewed so that community members can look at the materials for themselves and continue to ask questions. As the board moves into the public impact portion of the conversation, we want to make it easy for families, staff members, and community members to continue to share questions and feedback. Residents may contact me directly at the unit office. They may email the Board of Education, attend an upcoming Clearview community conversation at the unit office, attend an upcoming board meeting, or submit a message through the community engagement section of the Clearview website. These opportunities are intended to help the district understand what information remains unclear, to respond factually to questions, and to hear community concerns as the board considers its possible next steps. The figures in the debt book reviewed today are estimates, developed for planning and public discussion. No final project amount, borrowing structure, or taxpayer impact has been approved to date. We encourage residents to review the full debt book, explore the district's broader financial records, ask questions, and continue to follow the board's public discussion through the Clearview website. Thank you for taking the time to stay informed and engaged with this important ongoing conversation. And go Shoes!